Warning! Hey, dumbass! This show is called The Offenders. So if you hear something that offends you, then we are doing our fucking job. So quit crying. Love the offenders.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Offenders Podcast. I'm Evan Jones. I'm here with my best buddy, number one friend, Shane Tipton. How you doing?
I'm doing all right today.
That's great. Let's talk about some things. What you been up to, man?
Well, about 6'4".
In an upcoming episode, there's a game called Punderdome, and we definitely need to play that.
Oh.
And make an episode out of it. Thank you, Eli, for recommending that, one of our listeners. Also, a fellow podcaster for Smackmouth Podcast, so go look that up on SoundCloud or iTunes. We'll be having him on to talk about his band in a couple of weeks. But anyway, basically all you do is you take a situation and you get a word, and you have to make as many puns from that situation, that word, I believe. And the more that you make, the more points you get. And I figure the two of us could probably break that game.
Maybe. I don't know. It might be one of those things where it's like, I'm very good at this. All right. Now I need you to do it. Oh, fuck. I don't know how to do this.
As long as we're not being paid in a job fashion, I don't think we're going to panic.
That's true.
Yeah. So, just wanted to tell a funny story to start this all off. As most of you know, I am a single man. I've been dealing with that for the past couple of months. Well, my supervisor at work is leaving. She's treated me very well. She's been great, and she's been helping me, get over all the stuff. Just like try to send me little positive little messages and text messages and stuff. And so she was trying to be matchmaker, right? So she's like, "Hey Evan, this is the lady that trains me. What do you think of her?" And as they say in the South,
she has very nice shoes.
As they say in the South, bless her heart. Because what she showed me was a savage, feral, muscular beast.
Wolverine. Now imagine Wolverine.
Hey,
bub, you want to go out for dinner?
If Wolverine had taken human growth hormone and was on testosterone therapy and steroids with a whole lot of self-tanner, this all is not meant to be an insult. This is meant to tell you how terrifyingly in shape this woman was. This woman could probably bench press Mars.
Oh,
and I don't mean the Sailor Scout. I mean the actual planet. So it must have shown on my face because she started laughing. And I said, she is terrifyingly in shape. So she laughed, and I said, I said, I'm going to make a joke out of this so it's not embarrassing. At my own expense. So I said, this is how I like my women to be. So I walk over to her, right? And I pull out my phone and I bring up a little picture. And she goes, so what do you like in women? I was like, I like my women like this. And I show her a picture of Shiva from Final Fantasy. I said, I like my women with blue skin being goddesses of ice and frost. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you can just go to my Facebook profile and look at the cover photo, because that is the exact picture that I showed her. Well, the guy sitting next to her busted out laughing, and she totally no-sold it. She was like, wow, she has really nice... And she sticks her hand in front of her chest. And I'm like, she just completely disregarded that I just mentioned a fictional character with blue skin as a date. And all she had to say was, wow, she has nice... And then put her hands in front of her chest. Number one, that's my supervisor talking about tits.
I'm just imagining she's like, oh, he's showing me a woman with big... So he likes women with big breasts. She just completely...
That's exactly where she went. She completely disregarded all of the weird that I brought there in an attempt to be funny and strange.
The best response for her would have been like, frigid bitches, I know lots of them. I can get you all those you need.
Oh, no. No. You see, people don't know Shiva's very nice and kind. She just happens to control ice and, weather, temperatures, and that's what I like in a woman. Let me go see. Hold on. My house is, right now, my house is 57 degrees. It's a little warm for my taste. I prefer it in the 30s, the 40s, But yeah, so she handled that like a champ and turned that joke right around on me like that. And that is one of the best things that you can do is when you come at somebody with a joke, and then not only do they go along with it, but they make it better. Especially when you don't expect them to do so. That's like one of the greatest things that can happen.
I think that one might have been an accident.
Yeah, but that's why it's so great. It's like when somebody's telling you something, it's like they're talking about, going to get a fucking steak from the butcher or something. They're just like, and you know what? That meat is just a cut above the rest. And they don't realize it, and I'm sitting above the rest. And then I tell them, they're like, oh, I didn't mean that. You never do. I just always get them. That's the best thing, man.
That's true.
So today we were supposed to have a guest, but he canceled out on us. So his name shall remain unspoken at this time, but we will definitely bust his balls later when he actually shows up. Good friend of ours. We're going to be bringing a lot more of our friends back on here. But in the meantime, we are going to discuss two things. First, I've been having a lot of people ask me about motivation and getting into shape. Why they would ask me that? I'm still pretty flabby guy, but I do run a lot. I consider myself like 1/3 of Sammo Hung's talent because he's an overweight dude who can do like backflips and all that. I can do a somersault, I can do a handstand, and I can do a backflip in the pool. So I'm getting there, and I can run pretty well. But the point is, a lot of people have been asking me, what do you do to keep yourself motivated? Because I'm just, let's see, April 18th will be 2 years that I've been running every day. So these are a couple of tips that I have for you guys. First and foremost, you have to do something to make it fun. Because the first thing that fucks everybody up is going, I gotta go to the gym today. I gotta go work out today. If you do that, you're not gonna fucking do it ever again. Because unless you have somebody there busting your ass to go and do this, you're never gonna get it done.
Oh,
so
I'd like to propose something.
Oh, please.
For people to try.
Go ahead.
I just thought of. Maybe you can try it, Tim.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, why not try and use that to your advantage? So, like, if people out there are trying to lose weight and they really like chocolate cake, it's like, I gotta get up, walk all the way to the freaking kitchen, get the plate, get the knife, cut the cake. Don't want to cut it too big. Don't want to cut it too small. I gotta carry it all the way back. The icing's gonna get all over my fingers.
All of these things that I have to do to get between me and the goal. Son of a bitch.
Just try that and see if that works, I wonder. But go ahead.
But yeah. So what I do is, for instance, I'll just use running because we can go into any number of things. But for me, for running, I take it into a couple of different scenarios. First scenario is I have to make this fun. The way that I make it fun is I use this as time to listen to music. Because, I can listen to music all day long, but I can find songs that really motivate me. Like when you hear a song and you get that little, I guess it would be a dopamine release because the song is just fucking awesome and you get like the tinglies. Well, you can use that to your advantage by running with it. And specifically, now in these days, we have these things on the internet that help folks out with things they want to do. And one of those is called jog.fm. And what it does is it's powered by Spotify, which is a subscription-based music software for your cell phone or your computer. And what it does is being powered by that, which you can use for free, by the way, it will take the songs that you look up and it will it will tell you what the minute by mile is based on the rhythm of the song. So if the rhythm's like dun, 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 you kind of measure your footfall with that. You can do a double time, dun, 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 and it helps you figure out, okay, I want to make a playlist that will make sure that I'm staying within my step range for a 9-minute mile or a 10-minute mile or an 8-minute mile or whatever it is. So all you do is you look up the song or the band And then it'll list all of them. Then you look at it and it'll tell you what the minute per mile goal is for that song. So you just make a whole playlist out of all these things, and all of a sudden you've got all these songs that are going to be pumping you into the right rhythm to get you moving. Now, if you don't want to do that, another thing that you can do is, like, if you already have a gym membership, what you can do is most gyms now offer free Wi-Fi. Even if they don't, what you can do is you can store on your tablet or your cell phone or your laptop, if you carry that with you for some unknown reason. You load up TV shows that you've been wanting to watch, and you use that time on the treadmill, the bike, whatever it is you want to do, to watch these shows that you just keep forgetting that you want to watch. So say you want to catch up on Daredevil. You just go there and you use their Wi-Fi and you hop on Netflix, but you only let yourself watch Daredevil while you're running or exercising. So it gives you a reason to run, and you get to see the thing that you've been wanting to see, but you keep fucking forget because you're making yourself do something that you always forget while getting into shape. Another thing is, a lot of people are just like, well, I don't want to run on a treadmill. Treadmills are a pain in the ass. Actually, treadmills keep you from having pains in the ass because it's better on your joints, your hips, your ankles, your knees.
But it depends on how fast you're going.
Yeah. But still, if you have that versus, running on cement, concrete, it's still going to be better for
true.
you.
It flexes more.
So a
You
lot
can
of
always
people
get on the elliptical. That's even better.
That's true. That's true. You don't work out quite as hard on an elliptical, but it's still good exercise. But specifically for runners, we'll stick to running. You can run outside. A lot of people don't like treadmills, which is where I was going with that. People like running outside. Well, the good thing is there's a lot of websites now that are actually based on Google Maps. So what you can do is you can just type Map My Run. That's the one that I use, Map My Run. And you go to the website, and it'll have like a website layout of the neighborhood that you pick. You type in your address, and then you have a start point, and then you just, scroll all the way around the neighborhood or wherever it is, whatever it is you want to do, and you make your own little route. You're like, okay, this is going to be 2 miles. This is my first one. Then you go to another neighborhood and you set another one up. And the point is, you figure out the distance that you want to run, and you have all these different options because now you know all these different places that you can run, a lot of them with Street View, so you can have a number of things so that you're not bored running the same path over and over and over again. So that's a couple of things that you can do to start off with. But for me personally, the thing that keeps me going is finding new music and finding the music that I can run within. Because I generally, on most days, I will run like an 8-minute mile. That's about my comfort zone, 9-minute mile. And I just try to do 2 or 3 miles. But if you're just starting, this is probably the best advice that I can give you, is if you're just starting off running, don't say, I'm going to go out there and run a mile, because you're going to try and you're either going to throw up all over yourself, you're going to pull something, or you're just going to give up because you're too tired. So don't feel bad if you can't run a mile at first. A lot of times you're going to have to walk, you're going to have to jog. You do a little bit of both. First you walk, then you jog, then you run. So what you can do is you can download an application or even go to the website, Couch to 5K, and it helps you. Kyle, the guy who shows up sometimes when he's not working on World Domination, actually used this and got from not running at all to go to all the way to 3 miles. So check that out. That'll help you as well, because if you just run out there, there's a chance that you could do it, but play it safe and walk a little bit and then run and then walk. Same thing with sprinting. Don't just try and sprint for a mile, because unless you're Superman, that ain't going to happen anyway.
I don't know if anyone can sprint for a mile.
One Punch Man can.
Well, that's a little different.
Yeah. What is his workout again?
I don't know. I've only seen like one episode. It was good, but I only seen all in all.
It's like 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and then run 3 miles. Now I'm pretty sure throughout the day we should figure that out, because it's like I could do 100 push-ups if it's within 24 hours.
Right.
It's like I'll do 10, wait about 5 minutes, 10 more, another 5 minutes. But if you have to sit there and do 100 push-ups at once, that's going to be fucking hard. But then again,
I did 70 high bar ones where you're, at an angle.
Yeah.
At the angle.
Crazy.
That hurt.
Now, is this the one where your legs are up and then you're down?
No, my hand. Like, I was doing the easy version.
Oh, yeah, like when you're leaning on a car.
Yeah,
and you're
like
pushing
that.
Back.
But I did 70, and that still hurt. So I can only imagine doing 100 on the ground would be amazing. Amazingly painful for me because I'm not used to it.
That's a good idea too. That's like if you just want to get into like little bits of fitness throughout your day, that's a good idea too. It's just like you can find anywhere where you can just stand up and then just kind of lean into something and then just push yourself back. That gets you a little something. And I always say a little bit of something's better than a lot of nothing.
It got me going. I could do 25 on the ground fairly easy, but then I stopped doing it for a while, and now I can only do 15.
It's like speaking another language. Once you do it all the time, you're great, but then you're just like, I know I've heard that word 15 times.
Right.
What the fuck does it mean? Then somebody tells you, and you go, ah!
Right.
Oh, man. I just pulled a muscle really bad.
Oh.
I yesterday I did something stupid, and I probably shouldn't have, talking about fitness and why you should do it. But now every time I move my arms, it hurts so bad. I gotta find out ways to get over that quicker, man. I gotta do more stretching. So what do you do? I know you got a bunch of stuff that you do to stay in shape just around the house, some do-it-yourself stuff.
I just do the push-ups, and then I got these 2 5-gallon buckets with water in them. Well, half full of water, not completely full of water. And I just use those for curls.
Yeah.
And then I walk them down the steps every time I need to go anywhere. So
that's good. Doing steps will help a whole lot, man. I've never actually tried one of those Step Master machines because just going up and down the ones at work, man, is a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pain in the legs too, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, and walking around from time to time.
Now Shane used to fucking walk everywhere.
Oh yeah,
dude. How far was it from your house to the mall?
I don't know. I could walk from. Well, I don't know how. Well, people don't know where these places are, so it's not really going to help, is it?
How
far is it from? Do you think from where I used to live on Atlantic to downtown? Because remember when we did the LARP, I would walk from my house downtown. I'd be standing up the whole time doing a LARP, and then I would walk back to my house when we were done.
I don't know the answer, but you can find out the answer by using Math Run. No, that's got to be like 5 miles at least. At least 5 miles. And from my house to fucking Panera Bread is 3 miles, and I know it's way further than that.
Yeah, that's probably a lot. It's easy when you do it all the time, but if you stop doing it, then you have a problem. The other thing is too, it's like I can walk really far. Like I guess I have a high base rate for walking, even if I haven't walked in a long time. Mm-hmm. The thing is, if I go just a little bit faster, then it wears me out. Just a little bit faster. It's like, how far are we going to walk? 4 miles? I can do it. It might be a little painful because I haven't done it, but I can do it. How fast are we going to go? Oh, like a quarter of a speed faster than I usually go? Oh, fuck no, I'm done. I'm not doing it.
Man, it's like... We used to go to there was a gym that was in our neighborhood that we would go to all the time, and Shane would always like his way. He's like, I want to do 50 of 50 on everything, and I was like, man, that's awesome. But I was like, no, maybe I'll try this 50 of 50, and I could do the 50 of 50. But then when I would try like 1 of 60 after doing the 50 of 50, nope. You might as well just give up because like you could do 51 and your just arms would fall off. That's so crazy.
It is. That's when I was in shape. That's when I walked to the gym, use all the machines, go into the aerobics place. For some reason, walk on the treadmill like I didn't just walk there. Or get on the exercise bike, if not both. Go through all the machines again, and then walk back home. And then I was in great shape. I eventually worked up from 50 every time to using like 200 pounds on all those machines. Not 50 times.
Yeah.
Not 50 times, but a lot. And it's really sad because I'm going to give everybody advice. When you get exercising and you've done it for a while, just keep doing it. Because here's what's going to happen. You'll build up strength and endurance slowly. And you won't realize that you're strong and you have endurance. You won't realize it at all. You'll just be like, oh, I'm moving these 50-pound bags around. Everything's fine. It's like, yep, oh, I can do this all day. And you'll stop doing it. And you won't realize anything's changed until the next time you try to move that 50-pound bag. And you're like, oh, God! I can't do that.
Dude.
So it's best to just keep in shape.
Last thing I want to say here before we get to our next section is if you want to do what I'm doing, and I assure you what I'm doing is nothing crazy. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot. I'm going to go out and run every day, but you can look it up. People do it all the time. It's just in our society, most people don't do it because they don't think that they can do it, so they figured that nobody can do it. But Terry Crews, the awesome Old Spice dude, he's been doing this for years. That's the guy who inspired me. So if you need some inspiration, just go look up some of the stuff that he does. He's a fucking beast. But he's also a human, just like the rest of us. We might not be able to do all the stuff overnight, but we can eventually get there by making step goals, pun intended, and you'll get to where you want to go. But the thing is, for running every day, you have to make sure that you force yourself to fit it in. Like for me, I have a 24-hour gym that I can go to, and I have a treadmill at my job because they have a gym there, and I also have a lot of things around my neighborhood, so no matter what it is, I can always find, my tracks are anywhere between a half mile and 4 miles. So I can say, okay, I'm just going to go run around the school, twice, and that'll be my half mile or whatever it is. And you can do that anytime. It's not hard to find 15, 20 minutes to work out, but you'll trick yourself into thinking that it is. You'll just be like, oh, I got to go to work. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to watch TV. All these things, when you're saying this to yourself, it sounds like a lot. But you would be surprised if you just sit there and think about, well, I have 5 minutes where I'm not doing shit. I have 10 minutes where I'm not doing shit. At some point throughout the day, there's going to be a time, although you might not want to do it, you still can do it. And that's the secret, is making yourself stay dedicated to it. So just make sure that you find the time, even like it could be right when you wake up in the morning, right before you go to work, right when you get out of work. If you're off on your day, if you have, a day off, do it at some point between all of your plans. You have to find a way to force yourself to do it. And then I think it's 30 days to build a habit. Is that right?
Something like, I think it's a little more than that, but
once you establish it, you'll be, I wouldn't say proud of yourself, but you'll just be so happy that you're sticking to it that you won't want to stop, because you'll be like, well, I've been doing this for this long. I shouldn't fuck it up now because it's working. What I've wanted to do is being done right now.
Yeah.
Through your own willpower and dedication, you have accomplished this goal that you wanted to go through with. And it's all you have to do is just make those little decisions every day to make sure that you're doing it. That's all there is to it. There's no big crazy magic thing. You don't have to take a bunch of supplements. You just do it.
Let me give everyone the very first step in changing something that you want to change. As I've noticed, because I sit and think about these things sometimes, as I've noticed what it is. Everybody has this thing, like you're saying, you're like where you tell yourself you don't have time to do it and stuff like that. Now, you want to, let's say you want to get out and you want to walk or jog or whatever you're going to do, whatever the exercises is, no matter what it is. So your brain is always doing something. And sometimes it just makes up this little story. It's how most things go. And that's how that thing's like, I can't do this, I can't do that, and all this stuff like that. The thing is that part is different than the part that you can actually do something about directly.
Oh.
Where you decide. Because that just happens. That's your subconscious, basically. It's just playing its little narrative over and over and over again.
Autopilot, yeah.
Right. So, the very first step, but I warn you, it's frustrating, but you have to get past it. It's, what you don't realize is, you agree with it.
Yeah, that's true.
So you says like, I don't have time to do this. And you're like, yeah, I'm right. You're right. I don't have. I'm like,
I told myself it must be true.
Yeah, it's like, it don't have. So what you got to do is you got to stop just going along with it when you hear it. It's like, I need to do this, and it's like it'll be like, I don't know, I don't have time, and I'm tired. It's like you have to just make the decision. And I'll say this: even if you can't get yourself to do it, you still have to disagree with it. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't disagree with it, you never have a chance. You will never be able to do anything different. So, and it's frustrating because then you'll notice that there's things that you want to do that you can't get yourself to do. Mm-hmm. And that is the first step.
Yeah. It's self-talk. You have to have good positive self-talk.
Right.
Like, it's not, I don't have time to do it. It's like, I need to do this. You're not giving yourself an option out of it. So you're like, I need to do this, so let's see how I can do it.
Right.
And like, because specifically, like, this is so weird, but at my gym they have these like massage chairs, and some fucking how it like pinched a nerve in my hip sitting in a massage chair. How the fuck that happened, I don't know. But I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh fuck, my hip, oh god damn, this hurts. So I was like, well, I have to run because it's been, a year, so I gotta go out and run. And my fucking hip was hurting, but you know what? I still had to do it. So I went out there and I just ran through the neighborhood, and that was it. And it hurt, but you know what? The next day it didn't hurt worse because it was just a pinched nerve. It was just a little bit of pain. Man. So I'm not telling you if you're bleeding or hemorrhaging or something to go out there and run a fucking marathon, but don't let yourself don't give yourself excuses to get out of something if you can actually do it.
Yeah.
Because we all do that sometimes.
And sometimes, like, if you don't want to do something and you're just like, all right, I'm going to do it for a quarter of the time instead of the full time. And occasionally, once you start doing it, it just gives up because that part of your brain sometimes is lazy too. It's like, I can't do this. And you start doing it. It's like, well, fuck, if you're going to do it anyway, fine. And it shuts up.
It's so weird because I tell everybody that I'm lazy because I love laying in bed and I love playing video games and all this shit. But I run every day. So I can't really say that I'm lazy. I just don't have a whole lot of ambition to do things that I don't want to do.
That's what it is.
But that takes too long to say, so I just tell people that I'm lazy.
Because you're too lazy to explain it.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, that makes sense.
So let's get on to the other thing we're going to discuss.
All right, the other subject is being offended. I know. So usually I just make fun of being offended and stuff like that. But I realize that everyone gets offended. And you just don't think of it that way, including the people who complain about other people being offended. They're mad because they're offended by these other people.
And they don't realize that they're offended.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so I did this experiment the other day, which is really difficult. Which involves, like, not agreeing with that part of your head, which I was just talking about, which is where that came from. Which is like, so, I have this thing, this pet peeve that people have. And here it is. Let me explain it to you. If someone does something that I think is stupid, all right? And I can at least understand why they would do it, even though it's stupid. It doesn't bother me as much as if they do something I think is stupid and I cannot figure out why anyone would do it.
Yeah.
It drives me insane. So I realized the trick to it. I sat and tried to figure it out. And what it was, it's like, so I'll give you the example because I have this thing where, like, I've seen all these people. I'm going to give you guys some advice, by the way. If there's something that you don't like, do not go to a place where there's a bunch of other people who also don't like that thing. And they all like to talk about how they don't like it. Because you'll get caught up in that and you'll stop thinking about it. And you'll hear something similar and you'll just dismiss it, which I don't want to do. But, like, the people who are like, they get really upset about something and they're really offended by it. And they're like, I'm so upset and I'm so offended by this because it's it's like, that makes me feel bad. So we need to do all these things need to change so I don't feel bad. And I was like, that seems dumb because first of all, people aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's like, it doesn't seem all that important. And you get caught up in it and I'm like, God, that just irritates me. I was like, no, all right, let me stop. And here's what you have to do, because it doesn't seem logical to me, is what throws me off. And I was like, that's not the case. It is logical. It's just you have to make it more simple. So what you do is you forget everything that you know. You just pretend like you don't know anything. And you just take one thing and say, all right, what's the problem? All right, this person's upset. They think that's really important. So what you do is like, all right, the problem is that I just did it as if it was myself. So the problem is I am upset. And if you're upset, you want to stop being upset. And if you take it down to the level where it's like, all right, logically, if my problem is I'm upset but I want to stop being, I need to do something to stop it. Mm-hmm. And if you leave it at that level, then your logic's going to do like, you can come up with anything. It's like, well, we just need to kill everybody on the planet so there's nobody left.
Then nothing will get on my nerves. There's nothing there.
But that's actually the explanation for it, is if you only take that one level and you only consider that one level, then it makes perfect sense. It's like, oh, I want to keep people from being able to, like, I don't want this person speaking on the college because I will hear them, and the things they say will upset me. So if the only thing that you care about is being upset or not, then it makes perfect logical sense.
And you can only see that because you're forcing yourself to be in that subjective viewpoint, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, it makes sense. So, like, I was like, first of all, this is great because now I'm not going to be as irritated with people anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, okay, I understand why they would think that. Mm-hmm. The problem comes is there are more levels you have to add on top of that, and people make things too simple. Mm-hmm. Because the other level is, if you're at a college per se, it's like, you're there to learn stuff. And to learn stuff, you've got to hear stuff besides the things you already know. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's going to upset you.
Yes, absolutely. That's part of learning is saying, I might not have all the answers. But some people think that whenever they get a new piece of knowledge, they got the answers for everything. And they don't want to disregard that knowledge in hopes of getting a better, greater understanding of the entire subject as opposed to that one viewpoint.
Right. And here's the thing that, like, so that's my, logical, good thought. Mm. And now I want to make fun of some of the people regardless, even though I understand it.
Well, at least there's no malice in it.
Right, there's no malice in it.
It's just being fun.
Here's my thing that I think of. And I was like, I wonder if they realize this, because, like, you do that for a while and you'll justify, no matter what it is, you'll justify thinking that way. So some of these people, I also want to say, I'm not all that upset about people who are offended for good reasons. Mm-hmm. Like, if someone comes up, like, if someone says, like, if someone's Asian and tell them you're good at math because you're Asian, mm-hmm. I was like, I can understand why that would upset you.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. They're still stereotyping you.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand it. Mm-hmm. But they're saying you're good at something. If someone come up to me, it's like, well, I'll say this. I can understand being upset with it if you hear it all the time.
Why is that? Please let the listeners know.
Because I just thought, yes, it's like, because you're tall, it's like, do you play basketball? And it's not that it's offensive. It's just, it's the 7,000th time that I've heard it.
That's like, oh, I see that you have hands. You must knit.
Exactly.
Just because you have the stuff doesn't mean that that's what you're going to do.
That doesn't even upset me anymore. I just go along with it. But I'm just like, I can understand hearing it all the time when it's not true is upsetting. But I don't understand if, like, someone was like, you're really tall, you must be a genius. I mean, the only reason I'd feel bad about it is if I was an idiot. And I'm like, well, I'm actually...
I was trying to figure that out,
I was like, well, if I'm actually an idiot, I guess I would feel bad because people think I'm a genius when I'm not. But most people will take a compliment anyway, and they are idiots, and they think they're geniuses, so who knows? But these people get really upset, and they're like, I'm offended by this, so we need to change everything. Like, people who are like, we don't need this stuff in video games because it's offensive and it offends me. Mm-hmm. And that just means, you're upset. Well, what about the people who are playing the games and they like them? If you change it, then they're going to be upset. And if we only care about people's feelings, what about theirs?
Exactly.
Why don't we care about the other people's feelings?
Who gets to decide which feelings trump the others?
Exactly.
That's what I've always wondered in that situation.
And if it's something simple like that, and another thing that bothers me about people being offended is, like, taking offense where there's no offense intended.
Yeah, accidentally offending somebody.
Right. And see, I'll even include that to the things that, like, people will find offensive no matter what. Like, if someone's, like, says something like, what are you, a landscaper? It's like, yes, you don't look Hispanic. If they intend for it just to be a joke and they don't think there's anything wrong, I don't get offended by that.
Yeah,
because
it's the intent.
It was not intended to be offensive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty easy to tell intent. If you see somebody telling a joke, you can kind of tell, even like in person, especially their mannerisms. You can see like they may act one way when they're telling a joke, but then it's easy to see.
Right.
You don't even have to explain it. You can just watch somebody and tell. It's like, that guy's not kidding at all. It's like the douchebag who tells an offensive joke, and then he realizes that he's telling it to the wrong crowd, and he's like, just kidding. I was only kidding.
Right.
And then it's easy to tell when somebody accidentally tells a joke that pisses people off because they seem afraid when they say just kidding. They're not like, just kidding.
Right.
There's a blatant difference there. Right.
But that's the thing. If it's not intended, then they're not being mean to you.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be mean to you. I mean, you shouldn't be offended by things that people aren't trying to be. You can't be accidentally racist. People say you can be accidentally. You cannot be accidentally racist. You can say things that are a stereotype, right? But you can't be accidentally racist. You can't accidentally hate someone because of what they are.
Shane, I'm going to walk by you and trip over my own shoelaces and be like, you look like you play basketball. It was an accident. I was falling down.
I mean, but you can't be accidentally racist. You can be wrong. Mm-hmm. You cannot understand. You can think something is a stereotype is true that's not true. Mm-hmm. But you can't dislike someone accidentally.
Yep. There has to be intent there for you to have that much of a level of investment in a feeling.
Exactly. It's like, if you don't like someone, first of all, the other thing I want to say is all these problems that people have, I wish people would just want to fix the problem itself.
That's it. They're not solution-based.
They're like, it's like, all right, we have a problem with black people not being paid enough. Okay, fair enough. We have a problem with women not being paid enough. Mm-hmm. Okay, I suppose if they're black women, they're paid even less.
Ouch.
But it's like, all right, well, here's my solution for the problem. Why don't we just pay everybody the right amount?
Exactly.
Let's pay people the right amount. Mm-hmm. Because you know what will happen? The problem will go away for everyone. And the excuse always is, the complaint I always hear is like, well, this affects women more. Okay, then, let me put this logically for the people out there. Let's say there are 100 people in the entire world.
Okay.
All right. 90 of them are women.
Okay.
All right. And of these 90 women, every single one of them gets paid 50% of the 10 men, right?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9 men. There's one transgendered as well. Okay,
nice,
there's
nice.
one.
You're so thoughtful.
And they're also getting paid less. Not as less as the women. Mm-hmm. They're getting 70%. Mm-hmm. So the men get 100%, 9 of them. Mm-hmm. The one transgender is getting like 70%, and the women are getting 50%.
Now, is this before, you said transgender, is this before or after surgery?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. If the presence of a dick does not count.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're not going to dog them for dick. It's not be dick dog. All right? Doesn't matter.
It's a ballsy move.
Maybe. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But, so, that's what it is. It's like, all right, well, they'll be like, well, we need to fix this for women. And they'll be like, well, I'd like to fix it for transgender people. It's like, yeah, but it's affecting more women. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, here's the solution. Let's just fix it for everybody. It's like, oh, but there's more women. Yes, I understand that. But here's what happens. If you fix the whole problem and it affects women more, then more women benefit than transgender people do anyway, in this case. Or if you want to switch it because you say there's one man getting and the 9 transgender people are getting more. However you want to mix it up. If you fix the problem straight across the board and it affects one group more, then more of them benefit. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. Even if you hate, I'm going to go ahead and switch it. I'm going to switch. I'm going to say there are 9 transgender people and they're getting 100. Okay. So because it's okay to hate men. So if you hate that one man who's getting 70%,
fuck him.
If you hate him, if you're like, that son of a bitch, I fucking hate him.
Exactly.
And he's going to get paid more too, that son of a bitch.
What a dick.
At least 90 women are going to get it more. It's the same. So let's just not begrudge that one hateful son of a bitch for getting paid more too. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what people don't get. They're like, this affects this group more. Okay, but if we fix it for everybody, then that whole group gets fixed. And why do you care if these other people get it? That's the thing, and people get offended by that. So you're like, well, all these people are getting shot and they're black. Okay, let's just stop the police from shooting people who don't need to be shot.
Exactly.
And they're like, but it affects black people more. It's like, yes, but if no one gets shot, they don't die either.
You know, there's an underlying theme in everything that you're talking about, and it's going to be very unpopular, but this is the fucking offenders.
Right.
So allow me to be offensive and tell you something that you might need to hear, but you don't want to. It's about personal responsibility and the self. What I mean by that is somebody says, okay, let's say you have somebody who's constantly complaining about things. Those people, more likely than not, are going to be pointing fingers everywhere. And by pointing fingers everywhere, they're giving the power to all the other people to oppress them, to control them, instead of saying, I am in this situation. What can I do to fix it? By blaming other people, you're doing nothing but removing power from yourself. You're giving everybody else the power to do everything. So, like, let's say somebody is upset about police brutality. What can you do about police brutality? There's a number of things. Let's be solution-based. That's how you fix things, not by saying that there's a problem. Saying a problem exists does not remove the problem. It just makes you loud. What you do is you say, what is contributing to these police brutalities? Let's look into it. Okay, why is this police officer who has been more brutal than everybody else? Let's find out how his brain's working. What is he doing? All of these things are actions that you have to take as a person, as opposed to just saying, you're wrong!
Yeah.
And on a greater scale, to go even deeper, you have to figure out, what is it about this that is offensive? Why do people find it offensive? And 9 times out of 10, you find it offensive because you're seeing something that is dividing things. You're wanting things to be well and equal, but in doing so, the division that you're presenting in the name of equality is still bringing division.
Yes.
So,
that's the biggest problem.
What you have to do is you have to take as much responsibility on yourself by trying to fix things and make it better for everybody, as opposed to finding a scapegoat or demonizing somebody else and making them the solution to the problem, because that will never fix it.
Right.
You can't put out fire by saying, well, let's firebomb the shit out of it. That'll get rid of it. That never happens.
That's the thing people get caught up in, and it's just normal. I mean, it's just how humans work. Mm-hmm. But people forget. So, and there's nothing even wrong with just saying, like, there's nothing wrong with saying these cops are going out there and they are affecting black people more. There's nothing wrong with saying it.
Because it is it's a fact.
True.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with saying it. But don't go blaming another group and saying it's their fault. If the cops are doing it, it's the cops' fault.
Yep.
And they need to stop doing it.
And this actually turns them into the thing that they are fighting against. They don't realize that. But by hating something so intently, you are acting exactly the same as the person who caused the hate in the first place. Because they're being hateful, so therefore they're inflicting their anger on somebody else. And doing that just makes somebody else hate them for doing that thing.
Exactly. A lot of the times it makes things worse. That's why it's like, I wish people would just say there's a problem and just solve the problem in general.
Yep.
Because there's like a spectrum of people. And there are some people, it doesn't matter what you say or what you do, they're going to hate you for some reason.
Or be offended.
Or be offended, that's true. But like I would say, there's a group of people that no matter what you say or do, you'll never satisfy them. And they're just going to hate you. They're going to hate you because you're Mexican or Asian or black or gay or straight or whatever you might happen to be.
Giraffe.
Yeah, they're just going to hate you. That they don't like yellow shirts and you're wearing one. Mm-hmm. They're going to hate you. There's nothing you can do about it. All right. However, eventually you'll get to the point where people are just fine with you if you don't bother them. Mm-hmm. And if you go out there and you're raging and you're complaining and you're like, it's your fault because you're Asian. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you're going to get these people who would have been just fine and not bothered you, and you're going to push them to not like you.
Yep, because you're being an asshole.
Now, don't get me wrong. They shouldn't be pushed. They should be like, well, who gives a fuck what this person says? And they should go around, being normal. But the thing is, like, humans are human. And if you're attacking them when they're not doing anything wrong, they're going to get pissed, and then they're not going to like you. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, people seem to forget. Sometimes I see it with people. I don't mind the people who just want to fix the problems. Mm-hmm. They can say, like, the fact that, gay people aren't treated as well, and in general, sometimes they're not. Mm-hmm. Depends on who it is.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. But the problem is, when people start getting really emotional about it, is they'll forget what they want to do is raise their group up to where they're equal. And they'll start wanting to pull the other group down to where they are.
That's it, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So it's like...
The scapegoat.
It's like, all right, well, it's... Black people are being shot too often.
Yes.
And they're like, all right, well, that's perfectly acceptable. They are. And it's like, so why aren't they shooting these white people when they're doing the same thing? No. We don't want anybody to be shot. Mm-hmm. We don't need to pull the other group down. We need everybody to be up.
Because you're coming from a place of logic instead of a place of feeling. And they've just, the reason that happens is they've been hurt on such a deep level. I only say this because I used to think this way. Somebody gets hurt on such a deep level, that's the only thing that they can find any sort of satisfaction in. It's like when you see a movie about revenge killing. That's the only thing that they can think of because they're not thinking logically. They're thinking emotionally. They're so invested in seeing this one outcome that they're completely blind to all of these other probabilities that are right there in front of them. But they won't look at them because they don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. It's like that with a lot of things. You just don't realize. You forget what your goal is. I've seen that a lot of time with like people in relationships. Mm-hmm. Now I won't name any names. But I will say that I've gotten this several times before when someone asks for advice about something. And they'll be like, all right, I have this problem in a relationship. Okay. When someone comes to me with a problem, by the way, I assume, like a relationship problem, I assume their problem is, unless they tell me different, that there's a problem with the relationship and they want the relationship to be better and they want it to work. Mm-hmm. Unless they're like, God, this horrible person, I need to get away from them. Then I'll give them different advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But usually when someone wants advice, well, I say this, but part of the time people come to you advice, they probably just want to hear that you agree with them.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
But give them the benefit of the doubt that they actually want to fix the problem. So it's like, all right, I'm going to use she because the person came to me. You know what? I'm just going to switch the goddamn genders. Because if I don't, someone might be offended and be like, why are you saying women are like that? So they're not. They're goddamn angels.
Absolutely.
So this fucking bastard, right?
Yeah.
We're having an argument with him. Mm-hmm. So she comes to me and she's like, he's like, this is going on. It's like, this problem's going on. It's like, this goes on and we get in an argument. Well, what do you think I should do? Because I'm really mad about it. I'm like, well, try not to get mad in the situation and, try this, and this. And this is what the response is. Why do I have to be the one to do it? And I'm like, well, first of all, because you're the one that came to me and asked for to fix the problem.
Yep.
You want to fix it. That's why. Mm-hmm. But besides that problem is, one would assume one would want one's relationship to work.
Yep.
So if you want it to work, that's why you should be the one to do it. And even if not, you know what you're saying is, I really want this relationship to work. As long as they're going to fix it.
I really want them to make the other I want them to make the relationship work.
Because maybe they're thinking the same thing. It's like, well, why do I have to be the one to do something about it? One of you is going to have to do something about it.
And again, the underlying factor here is the self. If you go into something cool, calm, and collected, you see so much more. When somebody lashes out at you, you can see why they're lashing out at you. You understand why they're doing that because they're coming from a different place. They don't have the equanimity that you do.
Right.
That's a big word. It just means personal self A-OK-ness, basically.
A-OK-ness.
A-OK-ness. You're cool and collected. But the thing is, if you come at any situation from an even, cool-headed presence, then you're not going to be set off by all of these things that other people who are attacking you to try to bring you down to their level are going to throw at you because you're solution-based.
Yeah.
You're not just trying to make things worse. You're coming in there from a place of saying, it is not important to me that I'm the one who fixes this, that people know that I fixed this. It is important that it gets fixed.
Right.
I don't care that they're not fixing it. I want it to be fixed because the fixing is the important part.
Of course, you do get the situation sometimes where, like, you can be as cool and as calm and as logical, and if the other person's not having it, there's just nothing you can do.
Yes, there is. You can leave.
Exactly. I mean, that's true. I mean, sometimes you can't fix things, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just not possible unless you can get them to be the same way.
Absolutely.
So sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people get upset when you're like that. That you're not upset. Because they think you don't care.
Exactly.
It's like, you don't care. No, I do care. Then why aren't you upset? Because then we'd just be yelling at each other.
Exactly.
Then we'd both just be mad. Nothing would be going. I don't know. Maybe sometimes that's the solution. Mm-hmm. Maybe like if you're always calm and cool, you should try having an argument with the person one time. Like if you only do it occasionally, maybe that would fix it. Like, oh well, they do care. And then I mean, if it doesn't come up again, then it worked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it keeps coming up, then obviously it's wrong.
We should just, like, the next time somebody gets upset with us, let's just throw personal insults at them about shit that has nothing to do with it. So they'll be like, oh, okay, I see why that sucks now. Be like, yeah, well, fucking basketball is stupid. Every one of your jerseys are a piece of shit. What does that have to do with how I'm driving? Nothing, I'm just mad. Now you see?
It's funny, too, because, like, sometimes when the people calm down, they just think they're idiots too. I was like, why were we arguing about that? I don't know.
It goes from anger to tears to clarity.
Yes.
You know? That's what emotions do to you. It just comes in and it's like, this is what you got, buddy. You're going to get mad. And then you're going to cry. And then you're going to be like, I shouldn't have done any of those things. And by the time you've already done that, the shit's gone. And you just look like an idiot. So try to be logical next time.
Sometimes they're helpful, though. I mean, sometimes they are helpful. Like, sometimes, like, there's something you need to do, and you try and talk yourself into it all day. You've got your fucking spreadsheet. You've got a point-by-point fucking PowerPoint. You're looking in the mirror with the PowerPoint behind you, and you're pointing back like you're talking to yourself. You're like, as you can see here, I worked it out with physics, and there's exactly 75,000 joules of energy that we could be putting into doing this at this moment. It will make us exactly 75.333.7. There's 2 points in there.
Yeah,
that's how close.
A lot.
You made a new form of math.
God damn.
Because that was me covering up because I fucked up. Just so you want to know. I don't want to try and be smooth here. I'm trying to be honest.
There you
go.
You're
like, but it's like, and now this is what it'll make us this much money. We'll be happy for all eternity. I've worked it out.
Yep.
And you'll keep telling yourself that. And that little voice in your head will be like, yeah, but I don't want it.
Yep.
And eventually, you'll get pissed. Mm-hmm. And you're like, God damn it. And you'll just do it anyway.
Or the other person will get pissed because they're like, that is a rock solid fucking equation. And they thought of it first. So I ain't going with it.
You know, I had that problem too. There's this thing. I've tried to get past it. And I've done a fairly good job so far. Or I'm doing better, I should say. But there used to be this thing, especially when I was younger. And it was stupid. I'll tell you that. I'm going to get out of it. It's dumb. So if you do this, you should stop doing it too. You should definitely stop doing it too. But what it is like, if someone told me to do something, that is the last thing I wanted to do in my whole fucking life. Even, and this has happened, I'd be in the middle of thinking about doing it myself. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do so-and-so. And someone would say, hey, go do so-and-so. I'm like, oh, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Nope. Fuck that, that's stupid.
It's like, I don't want it, even though I just wanted to do it. And I'll give you the trick. If you have this problem that I had, here's your trick for dealing with it. You need to realize that, especially when you're wanting to do something and someone tells you to do it, and then you don't do it anymore. But even otherwise, if you let someone tell you to do something, make you always do the opposite, well, then you're letting them make you do something.
Exactly. You're still being controlled by them.
You're still being controlled by them. Mm-hmm. You're just doing the opposite instead.
You might as well take the most beneficial of the two paths.
Exactly. At least you'll get something out of it.
I'm on fire! Why don't you put water on it? Fuck you! I'm just gonna burn to death!
And then one day, of course, somebody's gonna walk by and it's like, don't put salt in your eyes and you'll be fucked.
Oh, kids in the hall.
Oh, that's great.
The point that we're making in both of these things that we've discussed today is people need to realize that they are not fucking perfect.
Right.
Because that's where all this stems from.
And neither is anyone else.
Absolutely. So you have to say, these things are making me angry, or these things are things that I don't like in my life, so I should take a step back from being me and see objectively what can fix this problem that I have.
Right.
So once you start thinking that way, it removes you from being trapped in these spheres of anger and sadness over a lack of power in your own life.
Yeah.
Constantly blaming other people. So what you do is you figure out ways to remove yourself from these problems, and that helps you give yourself a better idea of what the entire situation is.
Yeah. Because a lot of the people who are like that don't realize that they'll never stop being upset.
Yep.
Because it's like, if you don't like, the true thing is people don't like being upset.
Yep.
Which is understandable because no one likes being upset.
It sucks.
So, the thing is, it's like, some actions that people take because they're upset ensures that they will be upset forever. Because the more you take, the lower your bar is for when something is unacceptable, the more you're going to be upset.
Yep.
So if you start getting upset about, and I'm going to try not to be upset. I'm in a good mood right, so I'm not be upset. Microaggressions or something like that, where it's like this stuff. We know you're not. We even know you're not intending to be offensive, but we're going to be offended anyway.
Yep.
You're always going to be upset. So the goal is to not be upset because you're like, I'm offended. It's hurt my feelings. You're never going to. The lower the bar you have, the longer it's going to be before you get rid of it.
And here's why. When it comes to things like this, it's because when you put yourself in a situation, you want to say that this is the reason that I reacted in the way that I did. But allow me to offend you and say something that you don't want to hear again. Nobody can force you to do anything. If a gun is to your head, they still can't put their thoughts in your head and make you do something. You might not want to die, which is understandable 100%, but they're still literally not forcing you to do anything. You have to make the decision to do this. Once you understand that deeply, all of this shit changes. Because no more do you walk outside and say, I've had a horrible day because this person did this to me. You walk outside and some shit happened to you, but you know what? It happens to everybody. Things happen all day long to everyone.
Yeah.
They get a free chocolate sundae. They get fired at work. A baby is born. A pet dies. Shit happens all day long. And people, once they realize to be objective, they remove themselves from this idea that things are only happening to them. And they see that it happens to everybody. So instead of just saying, this one thing needs to be fixed, like you said, they say, there's a lot of shit that we all together need to fix. And the only way that we can do that is by working on everything together. And that's not to diminish any of the problems of any of the people that are happening to anyone.
Right. Some groups have some things worse.
Yes, absolutely.
And if we fix the general problem, it will improve for everybody, including those people who have it worse.
Absolutely.
And that's what frustrates me about the people who get not the people, the people who are offended just because it's happening and it's wrong. I'm not bothered by that because that's the things people get upset about. Just something bad is happening to this group. It shouldn't happen. And they get it. That's fine. But it's it's the people who just go overboard with it.
Yep.
That's the problem. And they make it worse. I'm just like, not only are you pissing everybody off, but you're making it harder to fix the problem. I was like, we want the problem fixed, not to feel self-righteous.
There you go. Self-righteous. That's the point. That's the point. And I think that's about it. I mean...
Yeah, that's pretty much all for the subject, so...
Yeah. So hopefully next time our guest will be here. We got 3 that I've already scheduled coming up. And we're going to keep it lively a little bit from all different types of lifestyles, so everybody has different viewpoints that they may never fucking thought of. But we're going to try and keep you from being offended. So on behalf of the offenders, I guess we'll see you next time.
Right.
You already know our fucking names by now. Peace.